And welcome back, everyone, from our break. Let's dive back in to some Seekers of Sarmanath. So, you guys just had a bit of a run-in with your first wintry dryad. And now you are deep in this forest, having run through it like crazy on your way back, or on your way in. You have to find your way back. Can any of you track through the forest?
Can Sambar assist me?
Isn't there like the sludge tracks too?
Yeah, and the
isn't there like a big line of sludge to follow?
Too, right?
You find the sludge is hard to follow because it tends to disappear and reappear as they have flitted through all their small portals along the way. But you could attempt to use that to track your way back. That is for sure.
I guess I'll try to guide us back. It's gonna be out, and I'll try to have Sambar out to spot like other sludge places that I'd miss, I guess.
Okay, that sounds good. So Rose is going to take the lead, pull out Sambar for a trusty set of eyes. And
she's looking for sludge marks, and Sambar's just like, your footprints are right there. These were running.
Yeah.
No, that was a different badger. I'm very sure that's a different. That's not even my shoe size.
That was a different badger. Sorry, that was really funny. You make your way through the forest, taking the lead. Go ahead and give me a survival roll with advantage as you are tracking your way through the
22. Thank God this stuff's not charisma, babe.
All right, you are tracking your way back unerringly, eventually making your way through the forest itself. It is a rather uneventful trip, although you do hear the chittering of sprites and pixies as they fly amongst the trees above you, and you do see your fair share of woodland creatures. But what does pique your curiosity, perhaps, is you find yourselves walking along, and you see a large clearing that makes its way into your line of sight. And through the large clearing, you see kind of a standing stone on top of kind of a hill, and a gruesome sight of some skeletal figures around it. You kind of miss this in your hurry on the way through, but as you make your way back more slowly this time, this kind of field, this vision comes into your...
we totally have to have a look.
Oh, definitely. This is pretty metal.
Yeah.
That's so
Okay, we can have a look from right over here. And I point towards this little tree.
What was that?
Like,
As the court shouts, like as he's walking toward the thing.
No. Don't you walk up
Rose
there.
is like saying that right here, and Court is already like right here, and he's like walking forward.
Alrighty. So, you guys
looks
can
ominous,
approach
but...
this large standing stone, but it does seem to be rather eerily silent as you make your way through here. More so even than the regular silence that you hear in the forest. You see that raised on earth is this kind of large pentagram. And the pentagram is inscribed with faded runes across the edge of it. And there are skeletons surrounding this pentagram, surrounding the standing stone in the center of the pentagram as you approach it.
I'm gonna grab out my loot and have a look and see if there's any magic leaking off of it.
Okay, absolutely. You pull out your loop and you begin observing this, and you do find at least a faint aura of magic surrounding the pentagram itself. This symbol in the center of this definitely has faded magic around it. You can't really tell if the aura is just the pentagram or if the stuff inside of it has it as well, but it kind of washes over the entirety of the scene.
It's fine, Rose. It's sleeping magic. As long as Quartz doesn't touch it, it's fine.
How do
Don't touch it. I just like point down at Quartz. Don't touch it.
Not stupid. I'm careful around magic.
In which way are
as
these?
he's like reaching out, looking away.
I'm not stupid, right? Like, in what way do the skeletons seem to be interacting with that stone? You know, does it look like they crawl towards it and then they died off, or are they like touching it, or are they like humanoid, or are they like animals? You know, it's like.
Well, you examine it and you find them to all be humanoid skeletons, though you're not exactly certain what race specifically they might be from. They all are features of humanoids. They
No
seem
dried
to be,
off ears?
Ears don't have bones, so it's kind of hard
It was
to
a
tell.
joke. It was an elf joke.
Okay, sorry.
Elves might be a little bit smaller on average than humans, though, are they?
And they have slender skulls and stuff.
If you would like to try to identify the skeletons, I think a medicine check might be in order.
Let's see if I can commit medicine. I cannot commit medicine.
You cannot commit medicine. Medicine was beyond you. Would somebody like to assist him in committing medicine?
I can't commit medicine either.
I'm not very good.
I can't commit medicine.
I'll commit it. I'll take somebody who's looking over my shoulder.
Elves have actually grown throughout the editions. Like,
all right.
5e in comparison to 2e, elves are bigger now, like taller than they used to be.
19.
Okay, with some help, you and your companions begin kind of sifting through the bones, pulling out specific ones, comparing femur sizes, and sure enough, it seems through a little bit of guesswork, you can discern that all of these are human skeletons.
Oh, it's just like the femur I've got here, and I pull out the femur that I've got in my inventory.
He starts sizing it up against his own thigh.
No, I have one. I have a human femur from when we were in the water place.
I guess that's how you figured out that they're human, right? You put it against another femur, you're like, oh, that's clearly human.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
But yes, you can clearly
Don't
determine...
you, oh my god, me. I'm pointing at you with the femur.
You clearly
I'm
determine
gonna make
that
this
they
into
are-
a walking.
What language are the runes? Is it like, you know, just magical inscriptions, or is it an actual language?
It looks to be more akin to magical inscriptions than an actual language. It reminds all of the casters in the party kind of as like a language of magic, more than it is written word.
Can I try to decipher these?
Absolutely. Give me an Arcana check. A 24. You are fairly certain that this is a ritual stone that has been set up here. These runes seem to be taking the magic of sacrifices to do some form of alteration or work upon it. You are not entirely certain what the final product of this alteration may be, but it seems that sacrifices are made to consume the magic of their life force and create some kind of change upon whatever is resting on the rock.
So, Greg, I am fluent in Druidic, I guess. Whatever that is. And I'm gonna look, like, I'm still outside. I'm not, like, close to this. I'm close to the trees. I'm gonna check the trees for, like, Druidic marks. I'm gonna, like, assume there's something like that means, you know, danger or portal or, you know, like some form of explanation that tells me, you know, don't touch a stone or whatever.
I'm looking for some kind of Druidic warning. Absolutely. You begin walking through the nearby bushes and forests, looking for some sign from your Druidic friends to warn you about this place. You don't find anything in this, like, clearing right here. If there are warnings, they may be deeper within the forest that you weren't, that didn't catch your attention on the way in.
It's an awful large sacrifice to make a little plateau of raised ground, don't you think?
I don't think it works that way around.
Another joke. I forgot. I'm talking to Rose.
Fairness, the standing stone is somewhere between 5 and 10 feet. You could fit
But, like,
fair bit on there.
7 bodies, really that much sacrifice for like a 5 to 10 foot pedestal? Like, I feel like you get a lot more earthbending done for like 7 lives. You know what I mean?
What are these weird claw-like structures here?
These seem to be rocks that have been specifically carved out and hollowed so that they like reach out over a kind of darkened enclosed area. The insides of those statues have been worked almost entirely smooth, with hardly a rough surface on it, while the outside has been left fairly natural.
It almost looks like there's like runes on those things. Are there any runes on the tops of those as well?
You look, but no. There's no runes atop the strange kind of rock carvings at the points of the pentagram.
And are these just normal rocks? Because they seem to have like red stuff on them, or are those like mushrooms?
You examine those rocks, and you do find kind of bloody marks upon them, but they are otherwise normal marks.
Alright, I'm done fucking with this deathly puzzle. I don't feel like dying. To the ship.
Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4.
She says as she's like, I don't want to go near it.
Well, as far as I can tell, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 6 rocks around. Let's think. Can't count. Is it 5?
5.
3.
It's a pentagram, so it looks like 5 sides, 5.
Okay, so 5 rocks
statues.
around, 5 angles to that thing in the middle. 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 more of those claw things.
It's 5, 5, 5, 7, 4.
The ground around this area, does it seem recently disturbed in any way? Are there footprints leading up to the statue other than ours?
Other than your own, you don't see any footprints leading up to it. The blood on the rocks on the outside is old. You would guess, not being a trained survivalist, more than a week, more than a couple weeks old at this point. The ground around this does seem well worn, however. The grasses do not grow all the way to this rock in this clearing. There are clear paths that have been walked down up to the statue and around it. And the forest does not encroach far upon this area. It is a true clearing in the otherwise large and dominable wood.
What does it smell like here?
Smells like dried blood and like old musty dirt.
We don't have any feeling of rift magic, do we?
No, your secret marks do not burn.
Alright. And if Janlar doesn't care then too much at this point. He's ready to go.
And all these skeletons look like they touched the stone? The middle?
They look almost as if they've been arranged. As you examine them and pick through them, you come to the realization or the thought that you think these were laid out on the stone or like laid next to the stone and sacrificed, or they were placed in a sacrificial position when they died and then moved here.
Jenna, is there any way to read magical runes?
Do you mean like a spell that allows you to better understand them?
Yeah, something like that. I mean, could you tell what the runes mean on the inscription on the wall?
I tried to read the runes, right? I couldn't.
Yeah, you recognize the rune spell with your Arcana check as one of transformation. Okay. These runes are magical. Yeah. They take life force of the sacrifices and use it in some kind of alteration effect that changes whatever's at the center on top of this pedestal.
Yeah. So I'll explain what the runes mean.
So if I stand on the top and all of you guys touch the stone, I become awesome?
Wait, can we see if there is something on top of that stone?
You look up on the top of the standing stone and you find a kind of flat area. And there is nothing resting upon it now, though the moss and kind of growth around on the stone seems to have been like scraped off recently. There are kind of like large, long scrapes across it, as if something sharp or heavy had scraped across the stone.
We should destroy it.
Say back up. I'll try to cast spell magic on it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'll step back. Go for it, champ.
Yeah, I'll try to cast a spell magic on it once everyone's away from there.
Okay, let me remind myself exactly how Dispel Magic works. In 2e, we would be rolling dice, but this may be just
I
a
think you
pass-fail.
do. It's DC 11 and based on. Oh wait, no, I'm thinking of the second edition. Crap,
Yeah,
you're right.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm thinking of too. I'm thinking of AD&D's Dispel Magic, and I'd want to know if this is just a pass-fail or if we were going to roll some dice. So let me figure this out.
DC is
for
10
you.
plus the spell's level.
10
Yeah,
plus the
and
spell's
any spell
And it
of
makes the
third
spell
level
casting
or
check.
lower and
Oh yeah,
automatically. So for 4th or higher, you make the
DC 14 plus or an automatic pass.
All right, perfect. Go ahead and make me a DC 18 spell casting check in order to dispel this magic.
18. Holy shit.
Let me just make sure I don't have any bonuses to that yet.
Okay.
You would have +7.
It would be whatever
for
your normal
sure.
spell casting modifier is.
I know that. Yeah, I'll just do it. I think I can get it later.
Nice.
A 22.
Boy,
All right.
hello.
You cast your magics. You begin waving your hands and canting the magical spells. As you do so, the light around the area kind of shifts and fades funny. And you cast your Dispel Magic. The runes on the pentagram begin to fade, smooth to stone. And as the last one fades, at each of these locations around the tip of the fire, you see a small creature just like fall out of the smooth stone onto the dais around you.
Actually, wait. I think that should have been a 19. So I don't
A
think you get
19
your-
still passes. You see these creepy creatures just like fall out of the stone as if they had been melded with it. But as you cast your spell, these creatures fell out of it. They immediately shield their eyes from the light, but they stare up with their beady, almost bug-like eyes at you and their pincers in their hands as they wish to avenge themselves upon you. They've been woken from whatever slumber held them. Go ahead and place yourselves around this pentagram wherever you want to start, and I believe initiative is in order.
All right. These fucking bug things. Do they all have like a skull under their left foot?
They do in this token, but no.
I'm just curious. Like, do they all have like one attached to their foot?
no. That's just what they do here.
Am I Tom on this? Yeah, I'm Tom. Okay. Where do I put myself? Wait, where is everyone? Am I the only one on the map?
It looks like people are putting themselves like
No,
way
I'm
the
just
fuck
very
far
green
away.
is all. I look like a tree, so
Hold
You're
on,
like
hold on.
rich.
Nobody would be on this altar because
You would be because you were casting Dispel.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah,
but everyone else
yeah.
would
I
have
was
it.
going back getting ready to lightning bolt it after you were done.
Okay, but you would. I feel like I would have made
So I'm
sure
probably
that nobody
fairly
else
close
was
to
up.
you, yeah.
I would have made sure no one was up on the altar itself, though. So you'd have to be at least down at the. Like I would have just not done anything until you moved back at least like here. So. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not gonna move you, but it's just where you want to be. I mean, obviously it's like 4 feet, so you can just run up there real quick. But...
Yeah, sure. That sounds good. Okay, and then initiative.
All
Hey.
right. Quartz with a nice 8. Janlar, I do believe I need your initiative roll.
Sorry, I was. So, roll.
All right, you got yourself a 6, and they're going on 5. So, all of you prepared yourselves for something terrible to happen as the spell magic hit. And Hugh, you are the first to react as you see these creatures just meld out of the stone, begin shielding their eyes and turn to look at Janlar. What do you do?
All right. So, is it easy to get up this thing, or do I need to take the stairs?
If you crawl up the edge of the stone, it's going to count as like double, it's going to count as difficult terrain, but you can do it in your movement as long as you have enough movement to do it.
Well, it's only 15 feet. I'm going to rush up to them like, let's go, Esteban!
All right! You rush forward to attack. Esteban Montague Garcia IV comes flying out of his holster. Go ahead and roll to hit here.
Okay. What? 20 hits?
20 definitely hits, yes.
Sweet. Alright, so he takes 16 points of damage.
16 points of damage. All right. We'll mark that down. Esteban, go ahead and roll to hit with him.
Crits.
Whoa, nice.
For another
16. All right, Esteban Montague Garcia IV comes rushing in, stabs this thing through like the shoulder. You reach around and get a sneak attack on it and stab him with your rapier as well. You like twin pierce this thing right like through its thorax. It chitters at you and like moves its little inner hands trying to claw at your swords. But you see the life slowly begin to like fade out of its eyes as it seems to be almost on its very last breath after your turn.
Okay, and then I'm going to use my cunning action to disengage. Can I disengage with my cunning action?
Yes, you can disengage with your cunning action.
Perfect. I disengage and just move back a bit so that he has to move to engage me.
All right, excellent. That is a well-played turn. Quartz, you are the next to move, seeing,
Really? Wow.
Yes.
We did not roll well.
You all rolled very poorly. You see this creature get stabbed by your friend Hugh. What do you do?
I am going to run up to here. Right about here sounds good. Yeah. And then I'm going to target these two with a twinned spell Witch Bolt. So we start shuffling his feet along the ground like usual. And then two of course like reach out from the center point. And 2 different bolts of electricity are going to shoot out at these things.
Nice.
So first one is a 21 to hit. Second one is a crit.
Yeah, both of those definitely hit.
This is a 3rd level spell, so it. Oh yeah, you can crit with that. Okay, that's
You can
really
crit
scary.
with anything that rolls to hit. You can crit.
All right, so the first one's gonna take 17 points of damage.
Okay.
The third one's gonna take, or the second one's gonna take 40 points of damage.
Holy crap! 40 points of damage. This second one here, you hit him with an electrical bolt, and it just like explodes, right? The energy just hits him, this electrical witchy bolt, and this creature explodes in a mist of ichor and ooze across the stone surface, and is clearly slain.
Okay, and then I used all my movements, so I can't move anymore.
Right.
But this one is also tethered to me now, and it's
He
gonna
is.
take 3d12 automatically.
Right, absolutely. Let's go ahead and get that done on him. We will tether him with some orange for the witch bolt. Excellent. That is Quartz's turn. Rose, you're the next to act. What do you do?
Right. Greg, you said this is a clearing, right? So there are no trees overhead.
No, the forest doesn't really encroach upon this. There are a couple of stray bushes, that's all.
Right. So Rose is going to do something which she did something similar before. She's going to pick up some dirt from the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Then she's going to throw it up in the air. And last time, Janla probably has seen her do that, like it started to rain, right? And that's exactly what happens right now. But there's also this giant thundercloud, like this giant storm that just starts brewing up on top of them as I cast Full Lightning, which has a 60-foot radius. So I think I pretty much cover this map.
I believe so, yes.
And let's see. I'm gonna go for this one. this top right one, and this one needs to make me a dexterity saving throw.
All right, dexterity saving throw for them. They will get a 21.
Yeah, that is a pass, so they take half off 3d10.
Perfect. A strike of lightning flashes down on top of him. He had already been hit by the kind of witchy electrical bolt, and he takes an additional 7 points of damage. He kind of cries out in this strange, mechanical sounding, like, bug cry. But he's clearly in pain and hurting.
Oh, and it actually takes +2 because I have the Staff of the Woodlands, so 2 damage on top of that.
I'll give him an additional point of damage. Took 8. Nice. All right, and that is Rose's turn. That brings us to Janlar. You've seen lightning called down upon these creatures. What will you do next? Are you muted, buddy?
Janlar's muted. Janlar's gonna move forward up next to Quartz. And cast Shatter on this guy.
Could you ping the guy again? I missed that.
Yeah, it's the guy on the left over here.
All right, that one. You're going to cast Shatter. He will make a Constitution saving throw. Not necessarily his best.
I just want to make sure that it also hits this like stone thing over here.
Okay, absolutely. He fails. The stone is going to probably fail as well. No, the stone is unaffected. The stone is strong. But this guy takes 19 points of damage, and he is unhappy about it. Alrighty. A ringing blast echoes out across the clearing, rivaling the thunder itself. This thing like clutches at like its many ears with its 5 or 6 hands, and that brings us to their turn. Excellent. None of you have really stayed close enough to it to get any of that. So, they are going to do a little bit of work here. This guy is just going to walk forward because he is tethered and is in light and he doesn't like it. So he walks his butt forward up to the one who is witch bolting him and begins to rake down with large claws upon Quartz.
All right.
And he will roll +4. With his first claw attack, he strikes out with an 11 and misses. He reaches out with his other claw as pincer with a 16.
That's a hit.
All right. Please make me a DC 11 Constitution saving throw, please.
I critically pass it, but I lose my concentration on the Witch Bolt.
Okay, so the Witch Bolt disappears. You are going to take 8 points of slashing damage, and you feel like from where his claws enter you, this like pain, this like heat radiating up your body, but you are able to power through and ignore it and are unaffected. That is this guy's turn. This one here doesn't like where he is, but he's not really in any shadow. Oh, I guess he's underneath his stone. His stone gives him shadow. Where does he want to go? He doesn't really want to do anything, but he wants to get away from the sword. So he uses a shadow step. He just kind of melds into the shadows and appears here. And will walk forward to strike at Meldarion. He's very injured, but he still has... Or not Meldarion, I'm sorry, Hugh! You have so many characters.
I know. I
know. Hugh, the first claw, strikes out with an 11.
No.
Misses, and a 6. This creature, just in the bright sunlight, is not as powerful as it would have been under the night sky. These two here, can he get to Rose? He can, because there is shadow in that bush right there. He takes a teleporting step into the shadows and steps out right next to Rose. And he lifts his mighty claws to strike at you. With a 6.
Nope.
And a 19! That should probably hit you.
That is a hit.
Alrighty, go ahead and make me a DC 11 Constitution saving throw. In this guy will do 5. Plus 2.
Boy.
He'll do
This is not
7
going
points
great.
of damage to you. You take 7 slashing, and you feel this heat radiate up through where his like thick claws dug into you, and you are paralyzed for the next minute. At the end of your turns, you can repeat the saving throw, but until your turn ends, you are paralyzed.
Okay, I also lose my concentration on this.
Oh, and the thunderhead
Going great.
above disperses across the battlefield. This guy here, he is gonna go after Janlar. 5, 10, 20, 30. He can get right there, and he will rake down on you with his claws.
I'm gonna cast shield as a reaction here.
Okay, absolutely. You react with your shield. Arcane magic flashes up before you. He attacks with a 21 to hit.
That hits.
That will hit. All right. You take 3. Oh shit! Plus 2, 5 slashing damage from the first claw, and he crits you that time.
Yes.
You will now take 9 points of damage from the second claw, and since you're hit twice, please make me a DC 15 Constitution saving throw.
Connors. Okay, right? Ooh.
A 9. You too feel the warmth spreading up through your body,
boy.
and it locks you in place. You are paralyzed for the next minute, or until you save that saving throw. Alrighty, that is the end of their turn. As they have attacked mercilessly. Hugh, you are the next to react. You have this this crazy, mean fey creature right up in your face, but it's on its last legs. What do you do?
Yeah, I rapier him.
All right.
He's got a point of wounding, but he takes 18 points of damage.
18 points of damage will slay the creature in front of you. It falls on the ground, prone, bleeding out and dying.
Alright, with my movement, I'm going to rush down to Faye. So 20, 30, cunning action dash, yeah. So I run up behind it and I will get Esteban to follow. What's Esteban's movement?
Esteban has 30 foot of movement, just like a normal person.
Well, I'll move him up and he will attack the creature.
Alright, perfect. Esteban Montague Garcia IV, strike!
Esteban for 21 and does 7 piercing!
And does 7 piercing, alright. This one in front of Faye had not taken any damage, so this is the first damage it has taken. And that, yes, it is your turn. Very good, you've surrounded the creature. That brings us to Rose. You are paralyzed your turn. You cannot move. At the end of your turn, please make me a DC 11 Constitution saving throw.
14.
Alright, you shake off the paralyzation after a round of combat, and are no longer frozen in place. That brings us to Quartz.
Alright. We're going to twin spell this again on both of these two. So I'm going to do it as a second level spell this time because I don't have enough sorcery points for a third one. So first attack is at 21, second one's at 20. I think both hit.
Both of those hit, absolutely.
All right. So 2d12 on the guy on the right. He takes 11, and then 2d12 on the guy on the left is a 14.
11 and 14. Okay, the guy on the right is going to die as your witch bolt does enough damage combined with the lightning strike from earlier to fell the creature. The other one is still up.
Does this guy technically threaten me since he's engaged with Janlar and not me?
Yes.
Okay.
You threaten everyone that touches your square in 5e.
Okay, yeah. I was just making sure. I will just chill then and face this guy.
All right. Excellent. That brings us to Janlar. Janlar, you are paralyzed this turn, and you fail to match your saving throw. All right, you remain paralyzed, and it is the creature's turn. We'll deal first with the one on top of Janlar, since it knows what it wants to do. You are paralyzed, and it is going to sink its claws into you with advantage.
Oh boy! Don't they crit if you're paralyzed?
If he hits, they will crit.
I think a held one is auto hit or something.
He's going to crit if he hits you. But he gets advantage to do so since you're paralyzed. With 16! I believe that hits your AC?
Yeah, I've without Dex, I have no spells casted, so I'm at 10.
You're at 10. Okay. And his second one is a crit.
Yikes.
Well, he crits anyway, so that doesn't really matter. You are going to take 8d4 plus 4 points.
I mean, it's not going to kill you
damage.
outright, right?
You will take 25 points of slashing damage from the creature.
It's a lot of pain.
As he rips into your paralyzed form.
Are you still up, right?
I am still up, barely.
All right. You're still alive, but you're barely breathing.
At 3 HP.
This guy down here doesn't like where he is. We need to roll for his recharge, because he used his Shadow Step before, and he would like to use it again. So we're going to roll a d6. He does not get his recharge. He's upset about this. Well, he's going to keep attacking his prey then, because that's the best he can do. So, Rose, he attacks with a 13. And
that's a miss.
A 10. He cannot find purchase on your barky body. And that is the end of their turn. Bring us back around to Hugh. You have this Meanlock surrounded. What do you do? Oh, very nicely done. That will hit. For 20 points of damage. This thing is still alive, however, after your 20 points of damage. You can mark one wound on him.
Yeah, perfect. I was gonna say, do they take the point of wounding?
They do take the point of wounding. It's just you've been killing them so quick that it
yep,
hasn't come up.
10 extra damage.
Oh, well, the 10 extra damage. Esteban Montague Garcia IV has been finishing off these fey creatures left and right, and he spears through another one for you as it dies.
Cool. Well, since she's safe, I'll use my movement, and I'll rush up to help the caster boys.
All right.
Cunning action. There and there. Beautiful.
Okay. Perfect.
Float his butt up here. Cool.
I think you moved 60. Can he do that? 5? Oh, yeah, because he floats up here. Yep.
Yeah,
you're good.
Yeah, and I have to go around.
You're good. Perfect. Well done. That is your turn. Quartz, what do you do?
All right. Well, I'm going to spend my action to continue the damage from the Witch Bolt, so he takes another 16.
That is perfect. That is enough. As your Witch Bolt electrifies him once more, the final Meanlock dies in the sun, leaving you once again in this kind of silent area, now with these dead bodies around you.
Everybody okay? Chandler, you're looking a bit frozen there, buddy. Are you okay?
I think he's alive. I'm gonna start like patting him on the face until he finally like gets out of his paralysis.
It takes a full minute for him to get out of the paralysis, but after a minute passes, Janlar is able to shake it off and return to full mobility.
I stand up.
Able? Oh, you go.
Oh, I was gonna say, Quartz. You remember when I said I was the tank? You're the tank.
Am I? I feel like you did a pretty good job as the tank.
He's joking.
I mean, you're still alive. That's good tanking, right?
Yeah, I'm just like, he wounds all up and down my body.
What's a tank? Am I able to harvest something from these creatures to do paralyzing stuff? Because that would be pretty handy on the end of a wounding rapier.
Sure. Why don't you give me a survival check as you try to find a way to harvest these creatures.
Never mind.
Oh dear. Oh wow. No, not only do you not know, what kind of loot they are. The one guy that you tried to just like experiment with, you just butchered, right? Like
Yeah.
he's as worthless now as the one that exploded from the double crit lightning.
Well, at least he won't be getting up. Let's put it that way. If they regenerate, he's going to take longer. So are we done here? And I'm just like tap on my belt. Come on, Esteban.
Esteban glides effortlessly back into his scabbard.
Great conversation, team.
I'm a little worried about whoever those people channeled, the energy into.
Maybe it was into these things.
No. How many were there?
5.
I don't know.
One for each of these rocks?
I'm not sure, but it feels more like, well, if I was to make one of these, and I don't do that, you all know me, I'd never, but, if I had a bad day and I wanted to, use all your life force to do something bad, and, I would make a similar circle like this, and then I would stand on top of that stone right there.
What if it's a trick, though? What if that's the idea, and then somebody stands on top, but then all the energy goes into these rocks?
One way to find out. Hop on up, buddy. Here, I'll give you a boost.
We dispelled it, dummy.
No.
We dispelled the protection circle.
I thought we dispelled the whole thing.
If you look at it through your loop, you will find that the aura of magic around it has been dispelled. It is no longer there.
Yeah, there's nothing here. You're all right.
Greg, you said those... So that blood is just like a few weeks old or something, right? This is not ancient blood from the forefathers of our time or something?
No, it seems... It's old, right? It's a few weeks old. Not recent as in the next few days, but...
Where are the things of these people that are lying here dead, I wonder? Because these are just, skeletons. Are there rags left or like backpacks or something?
No. It seems like they are skeletons. Almost completely picked clean, like perfect bones, like you would find in a museum.
It is kind of odd. Like in my experience, only really weird people walk through the forest naked.
As I pick up one of their femurs, I'm like, "You belong in a museum." I kind of want to get a skull so I could be dramatic, but it's just not the same.
Well, I think we did everything for this place that we could.
Yeah.
If Gorik was here, I'm sure he would have something important to say. But he's not, so let's move on, or?
I pick up a skull, put my thumb on his jaw, and I'm like, "Let's return to the ship. That seems safe. You're right, Skelly."
Excellent.
I'm sorry, buddy. I put his head back with his body.
And with that, you guys leave the clearing and begin making your way back towards the ship. Sure enough, you do so. It takes the better part of a day to repair the rudder and make sure all the pieces that have been stolen are returned. It doesn't seem that you got everything, but there is enough that after 4 or 5 hours of good work, the masts are fully repaired, the rudder works once again, and the Zephyr's Wind can continue its journey down the Moonflow River. Though it does seem that you've lost the better part of a day's worth of journey on your quest. The ship continues without too much craziness going along, although it does seem that you've lost your water-neared friends. When you start looking over the side, they seem to have gone off in search of something else or have decided to leave you all alone. As you make your way deeper into the forest, night once again begins to creep its way along.
Oh, is my hooded lantern still lit, Greg?
How much oil do you have?
3 flasks.
3 flasks. I believe a flask of oil lasts for 6 hours. So it very well could be lit, but you would be burning through oil pretty fast.
That's okay.
Let me double check lantern oil for you. Oil contains a flask. No, this is like trying. It's telling me about, oh, you're gonna throw and shatter the flask. We just want to know how long it burns, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Beep. Shut the fuck. I always feel called out when people do this.
It doesn't
What?
actually tell me.
Yeah, 5e is
Oh, here it
very.
is. It's listed under lantern hooded, not oil. A
Oh.
hooded lantern casts bright light. Once lit, it burns for 6 hours on a flask. I was exactly right. I knew I remembered that from somewhere.
Cool.
So, yes.
Because I want to use my lantern to help light the lights on the ship
By the
before the
time-
sun goes down.
By the time you're needed to light the lights along the ship, you have burned through about 12 hours worth of oil because you were woken up early in the morning, and we are now about the time the sun will set.
So I've got about 4 hours left of it. So
You've got basically you have 1 flask of oil left after a day's worth of burning the lantern. But with the already burning flame, you find it, while still difficult to catch a light on anything else flammable, possible. And after some time and effort, you spread some flames out along the ship, getting it nice and light and bright for the first time, really, in a few days as you travel down the river. There's a sense of relief amongst the crew as all of them are lit, and they all thank you for bringing them fire.
and when they're like that, I'm like, well, I need some more oil. Do we have any more lantern oil?
They all nod their heads vigorously, and one by one they come like bring you flasks of oil. You receive an additional 4 flasks of lamp oil from the crew, as they are more than willing to give it to you to keep the light going.
I'll kill mine now, but when the sun comes back up, before you put out your lights, I'll relight my lantern with that, and we can chain this bitch forever.
They're like, no, just leave the lantern going. Who knows what'll happen? It's lit now. Just leave it.
It's like, okay.
Please don't
it's
put it
mine.
out. All right. With convincing, the crew keeps you away from putting out extinguishing your lantern, but they do light their own ship and begin to glide their way through the river at night. So, the rest of you, what is your plan this evening as night falls across the Elvendar? Are we
Did the captain have a buddy?
Are you trying to become night buddies with the captain?
Yes.
Romantic.
I'm a sailor. I do what I can.
Okay. The captain of the Zephyr's Wind eyes you up and down as you approach the evening.
Buy your dinner for?
Hey, I'll buy dinner. I'll cook dinner. Hell yeah.
Oh yeah.
I do what I can.
The captain of the Zephyr's Wind eyes you as you approach that evening. Says, yes, what can I do for you?
Well, we have the buddy system going, and I didn't know if you had a buddy. I'm worried that you may jump ship too.
Oh, don't you worry. A captain goes down with her ship. I have no need of a buddy, thank you.
Very well. I did what I can. I'm not pressing this. I don't feel like being kicked off a ship at night.
She looks at you as you say all that. Kind of gives you a wave.
And also it's Greg, so I'm like, I'm okay.
This is the wimpiest sailor I've ever met. I don't need
know
a
what
buddy.
Greg's
Okay,
like.
then have a nice day. Thank you very much.
I tried. That's enough.
All right.
So Rose is going to wait for you.
To kind of look at you, just perplexed, just a look of confusion on her face. Like, did that? Oh. She sighs and goes about her business after a few minutes.
I'm waiting for you to come back, and Rose is sitting there on deck, and she's like, "So, how'd it go?"
I don't want to get thrown off the ship. And I do the same thumbs up to him.
You know, if you want to borrow my Dalliance and Romances etiquette book, I could, lend it to you for an evening. I need it back in the morning, 6 a.m. sharp,
I'll just sit next to you. I put the lantern down. All right, let's look at this book.
Right. Excellent. So do you want to hear about my favorite part? It's about introduction.
Perfect. I like that. Start at the top.
There's like this chapter, how to introduce yourself properly to a young lady. This just goes through the appropriate, tie you have to wear if you enter, a residence, and then what kind of gift to bring and which type of chocolate is appropriate, which one is not, and you have to weigh up her body size with the amount of chocolate you're bringing, because if you bring too much, then it's obviously an insult. If you're bringing too little, then you don't seem generous enough, right? So it's kind of a tricky thing. And I was like, so how heavy do you think she is? Because I really I'm having a hard time, with humans telling out.
We'll go on the higher end of the scale because she's a captain, right? She owns blood.
Okay, well, let's say that's about 20 pralines, right? Unfilled, obviously, because the filled ones are more heavy. How many chocolates do you have?
None.
What do you mean none?
We don't have any chocolate.
But that's how humans woo each other. It says right here, you're trying to woo a lady, bring chocolate. How do you go through life like this?
Well, I've never had to woo a lady. I'm a sailor. Wasn't many sailors.
I do what I can.
Well, maybe you can ask Genlov. He can make some chocolate for you or something. But I think you're very underprepared for this adventure.
I am. All right. I may have been AFK for a couple of weeks. Okay.
Well, okay. I don't know. I will try to find a spot and see if there's any other way to do it except for chocolate. I think I've read something about wine. Maybe we can do wine. Does she like wine? we start
Probably.
going through the next chapter. Okay, what can we do?
All right. Romances and dalliances of the old court seem very different than what I imagined. You seem to have been learning very well.
It depends. Rose probably has a favorite spot she usually doesn't talk about, romance is very difficult, but also very interesting to read about. So she's maybe she's sometimes reading it and then she quickly closes the book whenever somebody else walks past it.
Awesome.
This is nothing like blooming.
All right. So it seems to me that you guys are just going about your routines and going to go below deck and sleep, and maybe you're going to tie yourself to a mast again. Who knows?
Yes, I am. What about it?
All right, perfect. Hugh begins tying himself to the mast. Everyone else goes about their business. Night falls, and you are once again whisked off to sleep. I want everyone to make a D10 roll,
Start
please.
roll high.
Rose, add 1, please, for your roll as you still suffer from your exhaustion.
Okay, but I don't get disadvantage on this fun.
No, you're just rolling D10 plus 1.
Well, I fucking nailed it, Greg. Oh, God.
You're gonna kill Rose
My
just
Lord.
with exhaustion.
This is exhausting.
How many ranks of
It's
exhaustion can you get
exhausting.
before you die?
The
5.
5th rank is death.
Are you challenging me? Because oh my God. I have 3 more days. No.
So, Rose, you are once again visited by dreams that night. You are whisked again to this place where you kind of feel Tom's spirit around you. And you see once again this woman burning, and it's just a horrifying smell of burned flesh and of this woman's screams. Tonight, rather than fire, what you see instead is things that are around you just kind of melting away. You see the faces of your newfound friends, of Janlar, of Quartz. You see the crew in the ship as they kind of like are approaching this sphere in like a procession, and as they touch it, their features melt away around them, leaving them gone. And a kind of an emptiness replaces them. The very last figure that you see in this procession is Algernon, and as he melts away, so does the rest of the landscape around you. And you, Rose, are just left in this empty void, alone. But you just completely and utterly isolated. And the anxiety and the fear just kind of creep in around you until you awake in the morning. And
do I jump off the ship?
You do not jump off the ship screaming, no. But you will mark me a second form of exhaustion, as you were denied a restful night's sleep.
Rank 2 is half speed, by the way.
All right. So, the 5 of you wake again. Rose markedly looks worse for the wear. Looks as if she has not had rest for a couple of days. As you begin to sail onward in the morning, the captain kind of looks at the 5 of you and says, "We're getting close. By noon today, we should be at the great city."
I go over to the edge of the ship, I get a bucket of water, and I pour it over Rose. I'm like, I don't think the watering's helping, but I'm gonna keep trying, okay? And you just get with a bucket of water as you yawn.
Mm-hmm. My little leaves are just dangling. Like,
Now I have to yawn.
It looks like Sean was visited by some bad dreams last night.
Can't forget you, little fella. And I just like water the.
Yay, bedtime! Ray the bonsai tree is very happy about this.
mm-hmm.
Alright, well, we're gonna get there.
All
And then
right.
I like lean into Rose. I'm like, I guess we can find some nice wine. Huh?
Oh, like elven wine?
Yeah.
Mm.
That's nice stuff, right?
I mean, it's poison, but I guess it's good poison?
That's the way. That's the way to think about it.
Hey.
If only Tom was here.
Rose hasn't told the others that she's sleeping shitty, right? She looks the part, but she hasn't talked about what has happened. But, like, when he says, you know, if Tom was here, and she's, like, visibly shaken for a second, and then she pulls herself together and just looks as tired as the rest of the day, so.
All right.
You okay, Rose? You want to talk about it? Are you okay? Do we need to talk about it?
Well, I don't think... You're not my buddy, you know? This is not how it works. We made up a buddy system.
But look at Quartz. Look at him.
I think
It's
I'm
adorable.
your buddy, right? Are you okay, Rose? Do you need
You can't do the zoom function. It's not as funny.
So I'm gonna
Are you sure
pick
about that?
Stop.
I
I'm
do that to
gonna
my chat all the time.
I'm gonna pick up Ray, and I'm gonna look at little Quartz, and I'm gonna say, okay, listen. There's something really important. I need you to take this serious. Since we are part of the buddy system, if anything happens to me, you have to save the bonsai tree. And she says that dead serious. There's no, like, you know, she's like, this is important.
What's gonna happen to you?
I, like, gently pat his sleeves. And I say, well, I'm trying really hard to be there for the time when your conscience fully awakens. But if I can't make it, then somebody has to.
Do you want me to hold on to him for now? My hat will keep him watered.
I gently
she has
like
a hat of a turtle dripping.
I gently
I
like
feel like that plant would love it.
I gently like take him up and like put his tiny. He has these tiny wrapped roots, right? That looks like tiny feet, and I just put him on top of the hat, and I'm like, "You like it there?"
Oh, it's very moist. I like it. Tasty water.
Good.
His hat water is less tasty than the river, though.
Understandable. Okay, you take care of him.
A little bit salty.
You'll get used to it, I'm sure.
You can become a mangrove bonsai tree.
Mangrove
Salt on your
bonsai tree?
leaves.
All right.
Right.
Okay.
And so the morning passes fairly uneventfully. The crew is quite happy to get into the Elven City proper. And at about noon, you make your way down the river, and you see where the river has split into kind of like three paths. Honestly, this is where the three rivers converge into one. And as you're making your way here, the water pools out almost like an enormous lake, although it just is flowing into this one river. And as the water pools out, across the waters here, this like still, calm waters, there are hundreds of buildings, just kind of, some of them floating on top of the water itself, some of them built like arching bridges across and over atop the water. All of them conjoin into trees and large, enormous plants growing along the bushes. Everything here is incredibly colorful. While the waters of the Moonflow itself have fauna and vegetation that are quite colorful, here the wood itself seems to be built out of branches and woods that are silvers and golds and very bright reddish hues. There's very little brown here, even though everything is clearly naturally made. As you're approaching with the Zephyr's wind, there are small boats on the water itself, manned by full-blooded elves as they kind of pass their time. You see people walking along the kind of bridge work above the river itself, where they're both bridges that you can walk upon and also buildings that you can enter and go into. Everything kind of serves a functional purpose as well as a kind of aesthetic one throughout the entirety of the city. The waters itself, as they pool in here, you see are no longer the crystal clear of the Moonflow behind you. As you glide into the city, the waters mixing and churning here in this kind of soup give off an almost golden tinge, and it makes the rest of the buildings themselves kind of flicker with that gold reflecting off of the water's surface. As you approach, the ship captain docks the boat at what seems to be a familiar place for her, and ties it off. And after a few moments, some elves begin walking down towards you, although they seem to be moving very slowly, not in a hurry, not in a rush. They are wrapped in clothes that seem to be woven from just like the fabrics of the nature, almost as if bark has been pressed and churned into almost a papyrus-like feel, but they've somehow made it softer and wrapped it like clothing around them. The two elves here's skins are like kind of a bronzish olive it reminds you both of the greens and blues that you've seen outside of this forest, but are also at the same time more gold in nature than I think you've seen to this point. And as they approach, they kind of look amongst the rest of you and say, we did not know we would be receiving winter trade. Seems the river brings gifts this year. Come, enter the visitor's lodge. We shall create some food and a space for you all to rest. I know it can be a wearying journey up the river. and they kind of smile and point their way majestically down some of these twisting docks towards a larger building.
I'll nod and lead, I guess.
Alrighty.
I'm just like very slow in the back. All right.
Janlo is wary about this.
I'm as I'm walking by the elf, I'm gonna stop and look up at him and say, "Who's the Silver Lord?"
The elf kind of nods his head down to you and frowns just ever so slightly as he thinks. He says, "Huh, a very old name. I believe we may know something of the Silver Lord."
Do you know who would know more?
Yes, there would be some elders amongst us who know older stories than we do.
Where can I find one? I'm not here to trade, but I could learn more about him.
Oh?
Is it still far? I'm kind of tired.
He looks at you and says, "The passing of knowledge, I think, is a form of trade. Don't worry, there will be plenty of time for you to discuss this old legend. Perhaps we'll send some word across the city. Follow your friends. We'll eat."
Okay.
And they just
I
kind of
imagine
smile
like
and
an
watch you.
8-year-old boy standing there in like clothes that are a little bit too big for him, standing there with his arms straight down by his side, like, okay, and then just keeps walking
Well, he does have a staff. He does have a staff.
with a staff.
Yeah.
With a staff.
I like to
And it's, like,
imagine
half
you twirl
size.
your staff a little bit like you twirl your pen.
No. If he had a wand, he would totally do that.
Yeah.
But I think the staff, he holds that one pretty static in his hand.
Fair enough. All right. And so you are all led kind of into a lodge. It's warm inside as a small flame kind of crackles in one corner, where it seems like something as hard as stone is kind of shaped in a little kind of alcove in one corner of the building. There are kind of large tables set up along with kind of big cushions stuffed with leaves that you can rest upon if many of the sailors choose to kind of lounge upon them. There are a couple elves in here that are idly picking at different instruments that kind of line the walls. They don't seem to pay much mind to you coming in. And the two that kind of ushered you in here kind of smile and they say, "We will be preparing meals for the evening. We shall bring them to you in due time. Should you have needs, either of our compatriots here you can ask about or see to, we shall send in the common traders on the morrow." And they kind of just smile and take their leave of you sitting in the kind of lounge.
Once they go, I'm going to go up to one of the two compatriots and say, "Who knows more about the Silver Lord?"
They're kind of just idly plucking away, one at a harp, one at a lute. They look at you and say, the Silver Lord features in some stories from this land. It is not of the old world, but of yours."
He's evil, right?
They kind of think for a moment. What is evil?
Bad.
Sometimes what you think of as bad changes, like with the seasons. I know some who find the winter months to be bad, but yet if they just wait, the winter months turn warm and summery again. Are those bad?
I'll get back to you on this. I don't like this argument, but I need to find the words for it.
Of course, little one, of course. And they go back to just kind of plucking at their strings.
Is there wine?
You can eventually find wine. There is mulled wine heated next to this kind of alcove where the flame
Yeah, I'm
is
just gonna
held.
drink.
Absolutely. You can start pouring drinks for the sailors. They're very excited to do that. They take some of their gambling and dice and games from the ship and begin setting it up around the tavern here. You see some kind of like haughty looks from the elves as they peer down their nose at it, but they just continue to kind of pluck idly at their music while you play, or while the sailors play. You can also find some kind of like hard-tacked bread wrapped in large leaves that are around the table should you need food right away. But otherwise, there's not a whole lot in the room itself, beyond there's just like rows of instruments lining the walls to pick up as you please.
I look up and I just see Sean laughing. Like,
oh yeah, Quartz is like thinking to himself clearly, and then finally like the word hits him, and he's like indolence, and he goes back over to argue with the elf.
Okay.
I think Rose is just sitting in some corner, slightly grouchy, with a grassy blanket around her shoulders. Just waiting.
Just waiting. And so you wait, and wait, and wait. Takes a long time for elves to do just about anything. And it seems that the waiting is getting on the sailors' nerves too. Many of them come up with you, Quartz, and berate the elves, and where's our food, and this and that and the other. But eventually, the doors are opened and long plates are wheeled in. And you see that there are just a wide array of honeyed wheats and breads and fruits, vegetables grown from the ground and carefully placed, made into soups and into kind of grilled and roasted with various spices upon them. And at the very center of it all is a large kind of plate of fish that has been carefully sliced and roasted as well, and all of it kind of wrapped in these green leaves as they bring it in with more of their kind of mulled wine. The elves kind of smile at you. They seem to be the same ones you met at the dock, but you're finding that the differentiations in their features are not easy to see, at least not casually. You have to kind of look at them. But they smile to you and say, please, eat and rest your weary bones. We will bring in traders on the morrow to entreat with you all.
So you keep saying traders, right? Because they have a really, really strong accent here in comparison to my woods. Is he saying traders or is he saying traitors?
Traders.
About one thing I'm worried and about one I'm not. Okay. Good. I just wanted to clarify this. I'm kind of tired. So.
You look very tired, young creature of the forest.
It's not a nice thing to say.
It is the truth. Perhaps rest will do you well. He kind of looks about and says, are you not traders, then? It seems those are the only guests we get.
I'm looking for information about the Silver Lord.
Yes.
I was told some old elves might know. How do I tell when an elf is old?
Oh, well, they have seen many, many, many summers. That's how you would know.
Can you see it on their face?
Some. If they are quite old, yes.
Could you take me to one?
Oh, perhaps. We'll bring them to you. We don't often let the kin from this side of the world through our city willy-nilly.
I'm from the Elvendar.
Yes, but you are from the other side. You are not from our home.
Can we get an escort? I'd love to see your city.
We will bring someone to you to treat on the matter. Yes.
Okay. Can you bring somebody tomorrow?
Sure. We will make that happen.
Thank you.
Please, enjoy your meal. Rest. And with that, the elves kind of leave you to your meal in your kind of large lodge here.
Cool.
right.
Could you guys do me a favor and sleep together tonight?
That's weird.
I don't think so. That's a
Why
really
not?
weird favor to ask for.
Well, I just need you all to be in the same place.
We're all gonna be sleeping here. Is this not the same place?
The closer, the better. It just makes it easier for me.
But Gorik smells a little funny sometimes.
Oh, that's rude. That's
This
in
was
your
a
book
very
of etiquette.
It's the
Unfortunate thing to say to
truth,
me.
though. If the elf can say that I look tired, I could say that Gorik smells.
I
Just
think
'cause
that
you're
we
grumpy
all
doesn't mean you
probably
have to be
smell a
rude.
little ripe, don't you think? We have been sailing for 6 days across the river.
I've dived in the lake and washed every day, thank you very much. And so
I'm
has
perpetually
Rose.
showering.
This is true.
I
did
mean,
not
I'm a
realize that
tree.
our trees
I
are
don't
immune to
really
smell.
sweat. I mean, I smell.
Like oak.
What do I smell like? I
You
guess.
smell like wood bark.
Yeah, that's pleasant. People like that. Right?
And candle smell, apparently.
Right. They like that.
Fine. If you do not wish to smell my good dwarfy musk, I will.
No,
sleep
no,
apart
they
from
should. They should. Can you all sleep together?
And we
I
form
wanna
a
know
row,
why,
and
you
Gorik
little
is on the
creeper.
left, and I'm on the right. Does that work?
What are you doing, creeper? Because I had plans. And I'm like, holding
You keep
glass
getting
of
weird
wine.
dreams, don't you?
No, I haven't
No.
got weird dreams. She keeps getting weird dreams.
What? I never
Yeah.
said that.
Didn't Janlar?
Janlar did.
Janla has weird dreams.
But you're not sleeping, Rose.
I think
Just
Gorik did
lying.
too.
Gorik
Yeah, he
definitely
did.
explained
Yeah, I think
it.
Gorik
Okay.
did and said he did.
If it's going around between you, I might be able to trace who's going to be targeted next.
I feel like
And
it's a
then
dice
what-
roll, but no, I mean, it's creepy. I guess I can hold my slide after reading the etiquette book with Rose until tomorrow.
All right.
Okay, so I'm gonna go. Like, if I manage to convince them to like sleep in the same general location, I'm gonna ask for some silver from the elves. Like the
The elves
compatriots
kind of
who are-
look at you curiously, like, "Oh, do you eat silver?"
No, I need it. Like, it's a medium.
Mm.
I'll give them gold for it.
They
Yeah.
kind of nod a little bit. Say, what do you need to do?
Can I also have a mortar and pestle?
Mm. What do you
Also,
need
can
to
I
do?
have something sticky that I can make a paste out of?
These things can be acquired.
I
Is
need
there
it
not
tonight.
something we can provide for you?
Well, you can provide all of them. Well, if you
Yes.
can make me some silver paste, then we could skip the mortar and pestle, I guess.
Why do you need silver paste, young one?
I need it for a medium.
To do what?
I'm gonna connect our souls.
Oh.
This is getting weird
Is
by
this
the
something
second.
that you guys do often? Sure, this seems harmless enough. We will get you the silver paste. And he kind of puts down the loot and walks out of the lodge. Eventually, about an hour later, returning with mortar and pestle and silver and some sap.
Okay, I'm gonna get to work like breaking off chips of the silver and like sort
Uh-huh.
of mixing everything into this paste. So like I make silver dust, then I like mix it into the paste. I'm gonna try and make like
The elf kind of crosses his arms and like watches over your shoulder as you do it. Not really saying anything, not really disapproving or anything like that, but just watching, just observing as you work.
okay. And then if anyone else has anything they're doing, that's fine. But when they go to bed tonight, I'm gonna like make weird masks on their face with the silver paste.
Okay, now you're getting weird, boys. We have to talk about boundaries. I know you're young and you're a weirdo from the Elvendar, but like we need to talk about boundaries.
All right.
Okay.
So the feast goes on for some time. The sailors eat their fill and drink heavily upon the mulled wine. Eventually, the food seems to run dry, but it takes a good few hours, and eventually people just start laying out on cushions and on the floor, just wherever they are, and begin making their way to Dreamland. So you can go ahead and mask up your party, I guess.
Yeah, and then he'll make a slightly more elaborate marking on himself. He'll get like his face and his chest and then down his arms, and he kind of goes into a meditation while they all lay down to sleep for the night.
Okay.
And he's gonna try and like reach out into this weird trance-like state. I think he kind of like Quartz kind of has a weird sort of sympathetic connection with magic. He doesn't do it reasonably like Janlar so much as he does it a little bit more spiritually. Or more like he gets kind of absorbed in the whole process. And he's going to kind of like, having connected himself to the whole party, wait until he feels like there's some sort of external presence trying to invade into their dreams. And then he's going to try and get himself pulled into that dream along with it.
Okay. Well, that sounds good. So I think we will forego some dice rolls for this evening. As your party sleeps and you go into a kind of dream-like trance waiting to intercept the dream.
Not intercept so much as move in with it. So like I'm going to let it enter somebody's dream and I'm going to go in at the same time.
You begin, sure enough, to feel that kind of external magic trickling its way in. And it draws towards the consciousness of the party. You go to meet it, and the dream instead finds its way to you. As it seems drawn to all five of you, and as you were kind of waiting for it, it filters its way into your brain. You immediately see this kind of woman entrapped in a blue sphere. You feel a presence of someone, though you're not sure who or what, as if watching or from afar, or trapped in this kind of trance. You hear the pain and the cries of the woman as she's trapped in this burning blue sphere in the forest. But slowly those cries turn into laughter and smiles, and the woman inside, who you at first did not recognize, turns to face you and looks at you in the sphere, and you realize shortly that the woman inside is now become Scoria. Not Scoria. Sorica. And
we made a horrible mistake. I think Quartz kind of like steals himself because he was expecting this based on like what he heard of like, because he heard a little bit from Janlar and Goric, but then the other guy had his totally separate dream. So he's kind of been expecting it to be tuned to himself. And he kind of like steals himself. Yeah. And he's gonna kind of look up at the sky and say like, "Are you trying to scare me? Is that who you are?"
Yes, essentially. Go ahead, and since you are semi kind of conscious in your dream state, give me a wisdom saving throw.
Okay. So I got +2 to wisdom. Do I get... No, so just a +2. With a 14.
Oh, that's like really close. Hold on.
We got an inception on this bitch? Are we active dreaming?
14. 14 is exactly the number. That's very fortunate. Okay, so as you say that, the dream kind of begins to fade. And the woman there reverts back to her normal form. And you're looking out at this kind of clearing in the forest. This woman trapped eternally in blue. You don't hear her screams or her pain, but she does seem to be trapped in the burning sphere. And stepping out from around the clearing, there's a hooded figure, a man clearly capable of great magic. It just kind of radiates from him in this dreamlike state. Looks at you and says, "You are a very interesting one to join them.
Hi.
I'll make you a deal, little one, rather than frighten you. Bring me your companions to this spot, and I will make your mother disappear forever. You will be free, never to fear from her again. Never
This
to
spot?
look over
Is that where
your
you plan to
shoulder.
be?
Yes, here. He kind of waves his hands around the clearing. Bring them to me. Your companions.
Okay.
Good. I am glad we are amenable. And as he says that and you agree, the dream begins to fade away from you, and you return to slumber. But you do
What
feel...
did he look like? As one thing that I was curious about, like what kind of features did I see? I know he's like partially obscured from the hood on his robe.
He's hooded in a large kind of hood.
Anything distinguishable on like the lower half of his face?
The lower half of his face, he's very dark-skinned, and he is tall. Right, this is a tall person with a kind of like a deep voice, and probably notable is the hood and the cloak, the robe that he is in, is dark but inlaid with a chain-like pattern around it.
Dark robe, chain-like pattern.
He has no
dark
facial
skin.
hair.
No facial hair.
Yeah, nothing really to discern.
Any
him.
tattoos?
No tattoos. The eyes are very piercing, although they're not a special color. They look just kind of like someone's eyes. When he looks at you,
It's more the expression than
the expression is stern and unnerving. Absolutely. And as the dream fades, you feel kind of like a pressure on your chest, almost like you maybe were in like a vacuum seal, or some magic had pressed itself down into you. Maybe like a vacuum seal, right? As if it's now attached to your skin, to your being around you, as you fade back away from the dream.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna let the party sleep. I was gonna tell them tonight, but I'll let Rose get some rest because she was not doing too good today.
Absolutely.
Maybe I'll wake up Janlar actually, because Janlar's been doing okay lately.
All right.
So I'll wake up Janlar and take him to the side and say, the dream is being done by a particular person. It's not just like an influence. There's a robed figure behind it.
As you go to say a robed figure, your voice catches, and like you can't say that, right? It seems like you're being stopped from giving out any information about this person.
There's a what quartz?
There's a... Interesting. I'm gonna go... Ooh, okay. I'm gonna see if I can do this. I'm gonna try and take my hat off and like put my robes above my head and then like pantomime a robed figure. Like a disturbing... Not say anything. I want to see if I can pantomime it.
Okay.
Or if it tries to stop intent and not just verbal words.
That's really clever.
Since I know what he's doing, can I roll like an intelligence check?
Yeah, that seems very fair. I don't think the spell...
Are we just playing pantomime now? You're like,
I think that's a very clever way to get around the spell.
Is it a monk or... No, it's not a monk. What else?
I think that's a very clever way to get around the spell. So I whether or not it stops intent, I think that I'm going to allow you to pantomime a hooded figure.
Okay. So I start to like...
it's...
I start to like very clearly catch and not be able to say things.
Uh-huh.
And Quartz like kind of gets confused. And then he starts trying to like make gestures to give more information, like sleeping and then like the burning flames.
Yeah.
So he'll probably like make something using his prestidigitation. He makes a small flame in his palm.
I think that's a good way to do it. I do feel like there's some amount of intelligence to it. I like the solution Dan came up with. So let's go ahead and have Janlar make intelligence saving throw. Or no, just a...
Check.
Yeah, just a check. Is there a skill involved in pantomime that might be useful?
That's a good point.
Well, I mean, maybe like a performance on his end.
Okay.
That is charisma
I like
based. Okay.
I like your idea here. Are you trained in performance at all?
No, but I do have good charisma.
Okay, so you're not trained in performance. So we'll just have it be a basic intelligence ability check for Janlar. I would have given him the proficiency if you were trained in performance.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
All right, Janlar, not only are you good at pantomime, you are able to guess the substance of what he's trying to convey relatively easily, even though, like, he couldn't quite describe it in words.
And I'm guessing he figures out that it's, like, very clearly there's a verbal block on Quartz.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. It's very powerful magic. To be able to both reach us and then affect us from such a far distance. I have come across someone
Quartz,
in our
like,
travels.
sets up some salt and pepper shakers to show, like, every person in the party, and, like, and he puts, like, a little napkin over one of the other shakers to represent the guy, and, like, he shows, like, all the shakers being handed over except for his to show what he wants, and then he suggests another one. He, like, sets a tiny spark in his hands and, like, makes the spark explode the little shaker with the robe to show what he wants to do.
A trap. I believe this person may have interacted with us before. We've told you about the Silver Lord in that realm, right? I have no idea how long you've been with us.
I know a little bit about the Silver Lord. I don't know if I know about your adventures in his realm, but I definitely know about the Silver Lord.
Okay, then I would explain to him our adventures of the Silver Lord and the I don't know, his acolyte. And I would try to describe the acolyte to him, to see if he was able to if that sounded like the figure he'd seen.
Didn't the acolyte have, like, a goatee or something?
The acolyte from Willard's Mill has shown the ability to change his appearance multiple times.
Okay.
So, yes, you have seen him with a goatee. You have seen him without. You have seen him as a small beggar man who screams about eyes, and as a large, dark-skinned figure who shot lightning bolts into Sarmanath. Right? There's been a lot of different appearances from the same person.
Okay. Then I guess I'll say I'm fairly confident that this is the same person. They were angry at me for destroying the book, or us for destroying the book originally. Spell book, that is.
I try to say what book to get, like, more information.
I believe you can say what book. I
Okay.
don't think that is.
Yeah, I don't know the full details of this block.
Right. Yeah, that comes.
Okay.
Okay. Then yeah, I'll explain the whole book to him.
Okay, so it's the magic book you had that was giving you, like, high level spells, right?
Yeah.
And the one that we, like, blew up with fire and caused an explosion with.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That was the very same.
Do you mention it having, like, a person inside of it? Like, it was an intelligent book that was telling you to do things?
Yeah, no, I definitely mentioned that it was whose it was and kind of everything I know about it.
Okay.
Did you ever learn whose it was?
I mean, I always believed that it was the woman, like.
So you're assuming. That's
I'm
fine.
assuming,
Yeah.
and that's
Okay.
what I've been.
Okay.
I thought. Wait, we had a discussion about this.
I thought
and
it
we
had
figured
a
it
female
was
voice.
It
the
did
woman
have a
from the
female voice.
Muriel, like the woman we saw on the wall, that he made a deal with a while ago. That's what we figured.
Yeah, that person. Yes.
So remember,
Not the one in the throne
the woman
room,
in
but-
the mural and the woman on the throne were different people.
Different people, exactly. So not the woman on the throne, but the woman on the Muriel. That was the one with the book. Because he also said that we killed the woman with the heart, like that we killed her, right? So, and the one in the book was very much alive still, in a sense, I guess.
In a very, like, trapped in a book kind of way.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else that you wish to talk about on the night, or are you sleeping?
Yeah, you mentioned it was like a vacuum seal over my chest, right?
Yeah, it's like I was trying to give you an impression of, like, this
Yeah, of, like,
feeling
this
pressure, like in, like, when you didn't, Quartz didn't, but when you first walked into Willard's Mill, right, you had a similar sensation of, like, a magical pressure on your body. Right?
Gotcha.
As if something had settled in and had, like, stuck.
Okay. Quartz is gonna like sort of make a beating motion over his heart, and then like find an object that roughly looks like it could work for a human heart, and he's gonna like bind it with wire and show it like bound and tied. And I think that's about all I can convey with Janlar. Okay. So I'm gonna have to hope he can convey whatever I told him to people in the morning.
All right. And so you return to sleep. A restful and dreamless night once the dealings with Quartz's magic are done. You awaken the next morning at some point. The elves are kind of standing over you looking like, why do you all do that?
I was trying to catch... I did magic.
No.
We do magic
They mean the
too.
sleeping part.
Yes.
Have
We
you
do magic
been-
too, but it very rarely requires sleep, as you say. What does that do?
Temporary unconsciousness.
Why do you do that?
Helps me collect my thoughts.
Can
Do I
not
lose one level
just
of exhaustion?
meditate? Yes. You had a restful night's sleep. You lose one level of exhaustion, but you still have the one. Nah, the elves kind of look at you like, we collect our thoughts when we meditate or when we are idle. Very strange humans. This one. And they point at Janmar. You have a ring. We didn't see it until you were asleep. You come with us.
Wait, he needs to tell some people. He needs to talk.
Very good. That is where he's going. To talk.
To them. I'm like pointing to the party. I'm like struggling to get the words out correctly.
I say, please give me a moment to gather my things.
Sure, we can wait. And they just kind of fold their arms and sit there waiting.
And then I will huddle up with the party. And say, last night, Quartz was visited by the same dream that I was. It appeared that he was able to connect with and actually speak with the person sending the dream to him. It appears that there's a malevolent presence. He seemed to think that he knew the location that this person was going to be and wanted to set up a trap for them.
But if the person is already there, how do you make a trap for somebody who is already in the place?
Well, they expect us to be coming.
Because
so
they have set a trap for us?
Quartz
Maybe
starts
they won't
shuffling his
be-
feet along the ground and makes some little bits of electricity flip between his fingers.
They won't be ready for us to know that they know we're coming? Or something like that? I don't know.
But if Quartz talked to them, surely, they would know that we might be coming.
Any-
You're
Quartz, like,
becoming
nods.
unwilling,
Any altercation with this being is going to be dangerous. And then I say, well, I have to go.
The elves kind of nod at each other and say, that was a very short conversation. Come! And they lead Janlar off, and they say, we did not know we had a honored guest among us. You wish to speak to an elder, and we shall take you to them. And they lead you kind of deeper into the city, away from this little dock and lodge where the guests are taken. And you are on kind of like a guided tour. They seem to be taking their time, not going anywhere in particular, but they walk you through site after site of spiraling elven architecture made from the like trees and brushes and ferns of the waters, all the way up to kind of
Lost on Janlar how few humans are able to do this, so I think he probably is taking in the scenery.
I am so fucking jealous right now because I wanted to walk around the city and then you got to do it.
You should have argued about that ring a little more. They lead you through, and it is a wonder of architecture throughout it. Eventually, they lead you up into kind of a great tree-like building in the center that's held up by other buildings that seem to have elves in them at the time as you walk through. Like at the very top of the lake, there's another tree that goes up to like the very top of the forest, and that is a building that hosts a bunch of elders. You are walked up into the top of it, where there are 3 very obviously ancient elves. There are 2 women with their hair long and gray, trailing down to the floor next to the cushions that they sit at. Their face doesn't line the same way that humans' faces do. Instead, they have almost like taut back, stretched out skin. Is almost like a mushroom looks before it bursts into its spore clouds. And a male figure off to the left of them, completely bald, but still very obviously upon a glance ancient, as he sits on these cushions. They smile kind of at you as you walk in, and they say, representative of the Glenwood, it is an honor that you've made your way to our home here. Tell us, what is it that has prompted your journey here?
Have you had trouble lighting any fires recently?
She nods, says, yes. It seems the mundane fires of the world are much harder to light these days. The winter is quite strong, it seems, this year.
Yes, we've been having the same trouble in all human settlements. Seems the fires of the world have been dimmed.
So you seek the counsel of the elves?
We do.
Humans never like our counsel. It is winter now. Fires are harder to light. In the summer, the fires will be easier once again. Wait. Be patient. The fires will light again.
Have you heard of the Silver Lord?
They kind of look at each other and nod, say, yes. Powerful lord of this realm. There are stories from when the rifts opened. Our fathers treated with him much the same that we treated with you and the dwarves.
He seems to be reawoken.
He was locked away before our time. His influence on the world is small. He asked us for help in freeing him. It may have grown recently. I have seen nothing of it.
I believe you have. I believe these fires are dim for a external reason. I don't believe it is simply the winter months, but an evil presence altering magic as we know it. I've seen dreams of the god of Burgess, right?
Yes.
Trapped, yeah. So I've seen dreams of the goddess Burgess trapped.
Your human gods are young. They are not as powerful as you might think. I doubt her entrapment would truly be this disastrous. But I could see it causing problems for you. You wish to find a way to free a god?
Indeed. And stop the evil paralyzing this world.
They nod their heads a little bit and they think. They say, The Silver Lord requested our Lord Kor's help to free him from a prison vast and dark. Kor refused, for the terms were not enough, and Kor was confident that he could add this realm to ours. I would think that the Silver Lord still resides in his prison and seeks a way to free himself. They kind of think for a moment and say, perhaps claiming the powers of a youthful deity could aid in this. They kind of think and say, we would suggest that you look to older magics. They tend to be more well tested. And they kind of pass a box forward towards you. Inside of it, they say, this here is a ancient scroll. One of the few that retain from times before, passed down through generations of elves. If there truly is a deity to be freed, read this scroll. It will do it. Be careful, for it's a long scroll. Don't be interrupted. Ancient magics are old and powerful, have a mind of their own, more so than the magics in this world. They're newer, younger here, more easily tamed. But you would be able to free your fledgling goddess.
I thank you.
Yes.
And what can I give you in return?
She kind of gestures at your hand. You bear the mark of the Glenwood. Consider this a gift. They provided great service to us, and we remember.
Glenwood thanks you, and will continue to be there if you ever need their aid.
Excellent. The elves kind of have some smaller servants step forward. None of the ancient elders really move, but they fill up some goblets of a very strong mulled wine. They say, let us drink to seal our friendship once again.
I think I'll thank the Tom and his heavy drinking and how much he would have probably enjoyed this strong elven wine.
And it is
I'll drink to Tom.
Very good. There's almost kind of a magical quality to the taste to it, and as you drink it down, it is far superior than what was drank at the lodge that you just had with your meal. And you drink it down and are once again kind of escorted slowly back through the
Can I take it to go cup?
They smile at you, but do not give you a to-go cup. And lead you down into the lodge proper. Once you and those elves make your way back into the lodge, you find that it is filled with not only your friends and the sailors, but a few elves. And you have a captain of the Zephyr's Wind, who is quite stubbornly annoyed and has been arguing with the elves for some time that she and her crew must pass through the Elvendar to the other side, and they should be allowed passage. And you can tell that she's keeping her calm, but there's a large vein beginning to show right over her eye, and she seems like she's on the point of snapping with these elves, who are remaining stony-faced and relatively still and calm and unchanged throughout the exchange.
I think Court's well-meaning, but very, very poorly considering his timing. He's gonna wait until there's a break in this discussion between the elves and the captain. He's gonna walk up to the captain and ask what wine she likes.
She looks at you like, "Are you serious right now, kid?"
He's wondering. I point back toward you. He's been trying to figure out what kind of wine you like.
Oh, now is not the time. I like lots of it and strong. Now, she waves you away.
He was writing down strong.
I go over. Like Cube's probably heard it, but Quartz goes over to relay that anyways.
Excellent.
Writing it on my character sheet now.
As you walk in, the elves that are walking with Janlar kind of stop and listen to this exchange for a moment, and then they kind of interject. It seems that a member of her crew is a representative of the Glenwood. I am certain that we can let these members pass with him. And the elves kind of look back, spy the ring on Janlar's finger, and nod. And they smile and bow as courteously as possible, with probably dripping with saccharin. And they look at the captain and say, "Then it is settled. You may pass." And the captain goes to say something, and you can just see a dark cloud, like anime style, overhead, but she just holds it back. She's good. We'll be on our way then. She looks back at the rest of you who are not Janlar and says, "If you have anything to trade with the inn, now would be the time. Otherwise, we're leaving in the next 4 hours. Good luck negotiating in 4 hours with these people." And she just storms off.
I'll go up to one of the elves and say, "My friend wants to buy lots of strong wine."
They say, "Ah, yes, elven wine, quite popular." And you say, "What would you wish to trade for it?"
You?
As he does that, I'm like, "God, boy, I need to sit down and talk to you." There's a time and a place for everything. Like, you don't start shouting things about the Mara at church, right? Like, there's a time and a place for everything. I'm after some wine. I have gold. And I want... If there's any chance I could get some armor, I would love to trade for some armor.
Elven smithing? Long practiced, sought after. Gold, you say? Have you anything else to trade?
Small boy. He can cast magic. Very rude.
A magic
Great
user
minds,
for
though.
study.
Staying here.
I
Do you know how long it took me to get out of the Elvendar?
They kind of look at you and they think and they say, "What kind of magic does he have?" Perhaps
Shoots a lot
we
of
could be
lightning
useful.
bolts, but it's a joke. It was a joke.
Oh,
I'm
I
not
see.
trading you. It's fine.
Human humor seems to have gotten strange lately, brother. Yes, it has.
Oh, who are you telling this? I say from the back.
Telling what? I'm sorry?
Nothing.
Okay. We are very confused by the humor of your bunch. Please, gold, you say? We have some use for gold. We have metallurgists around that can make wonders from your coins. How many coins are we talking? How heavy? The coins themselves fairly useless to us, but the weight of gold...
I have
perhaps.
1,000.
1,000.
Is it 50 per pound?
It
So
is.
that's 20 pounds of gold.
It
That's
is.
kind of a lot.
They think for a moment and they say, "Yes, we don't quite need that much. Or wine is not worth 20 pounds of gold. Should you give us, we'll say, 5 pounds of gold, we shall trade you 2 casks of wine."
I was also interested in armor.
Oh, yes. What kind?
Something light. I believe you guys work in Mithril. Is that correct?
Dwarves more often work in
Me-
mithril.
Me and Gorik have pretty much determined everything we were going to about the Philosopher's Stone from the Book of Alchemy, right?
Yes, yes indeed. The only thing that is still unknown to you and Gorik is how to recharge the stone. But otherwise, everything I posted in Discord is the function of the stone.
Okay. I'm gonna give the Book of Alchemy to what's your name? Q. To trade with the elves.
Oh. It takes
Yeah.
some time to explain what it is, but the elves are very intrigued in the Book of Alchemy.
I feel like an armorer would want to trade for that.
Yes. So for 5 gold for 5 pounds, not 5 gold pieces, 5 pounds of gold, and this book of alchemy, they will allow you to select any armament that they own from their shop to go along with your 2 casks of elven wine.
Is elven chain a thing in 5e?
Elven chain is a thing, yes. And sure enough, you can select, if you would like elven chainmail, that is easily, readily available for you.
All right. What are we talking in stats here?
Elven chain, I believe, gives you. Here, we'll just find it for you. It is.
No, I'm trying googling it. I just get.
It is a chain shirt. It gives you a +1 bonus to AC while you wear the armor. You are considered proficient with it, even if you lack proficiency in medium armor.
It looks like you would still have the cap to your AC from dexterity, though, which is interesting.
It's a +1 medium armor that you don't have to be proficient in medium armor to use.
So it's 14 plus max 2, so you could go up to 16 AC with it.
I'm already at 16 AC, so that's pointless. Am I seriously stuck at 16 AC?
No. Let us find some more elven armor for you.
Because I want to be...
Could Janlar or I wear that?
Yes! It does not require proficiency. You are considered proficient in elven chain regardless of your proficiencies.
Might be a good idea for Janlar.
And
I'm probably too small for it.
Spellcasting only requires proficiency.
Right.
There is also a glamoured set of studded leather armor made from the hides of displacer beasts.
That's what I like to
This
hear.
gives you a bonus of +1 to AC. You could also use the bonus action of this glamoured armor to speak a command word, and the armor will cause a blurred effect, giving you access to the dodge action.
As like a bonus action?
Yeah, it's just you speak the command word. Just it's a free action once per day.
Pretty. Oh, once per day. Okay.
Nah, it's fine. I'll get the chain shirt for one of the boys. It's fine. I'll be stuck with 16.
+1 studded leather doesn't get you ahead.
No, I'm already in studded.
It's +1, so you would get a +1 to your AC from it.
Oh, okay. I'm at 16 now.
So you would go up to 17 with that, and then you'd get the once-a-day power. And then if you gave it to Janlar or I think we would both get +4 to our AC.
I'll just wear it. It's fine. Here, you can wear mine.
I can't, because I'm not proficient.
Ah! But I don't think you get the proficiency from the Displacer Beast one.
No, the elven chain you do. The glamoured armor you require.
But the glamoured armor is light, right?
It's light
It
armor,
is light
right?
armor. It's studded leather.
So basically, you could get one for yourself and get +1 to AC, or you could get the elven chain for Janlar or I, and we would get like a comparably larger one. But then again, you are the tank, so it's kind of up to you on this one.
Yeah, I'll grab the glamoured studded armor.
Okay. So they will trade you the set of glamoured armor. Once per day, you can evoke the powers of the Displacer Beast. And you can give yourself the dodge action, basically, for free. Mm-hmm. Alrighty. And you get 2 full casks of elven wine.
Whoa, let's not do that +1 into that code. It just gave me 100 and...
No, do that +1 into that code.
100 AC sounds good.
125 AC.
Yeah, I don't think you're getting hit ever.
I don't think it is, yes.
There's a 5% chance.
All right. And so the 5 of you load back up on the Zephyr's Wind.
Hold the phone.
Nope. Oh,
I know we're
okay.
closing, so we can close now, but I have things I want to do. So we
What would you
can
like to
close
do,
now and
Roz?
do the rest later. I need to inquire who is the far travelest elf? Like, who's the elf who's gone, furthest through the Elvendar? Because I need to find the Scrivener's Tower, right? And I mean, we can't just
It's
go up
after
the river.
Elvendar, right? Isn't it
It's
north
at
of the
the
Elvendar?
far end. Yeah, at the far end of it.
It's past
Isn't
the
it? I
Elvendar.
mean, it's outside the Elvendar.
Yes.
Is why, because we're sailing through the Elvendar and out the other side,
Yes,
and then we.
but it doesn't mean it's like 5,000 kilometers out of the Elvendar. Like, they might still know about it, even if it's at the edge of it, right?
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, they've been there for years and years and years, though.
Go ahead and give me a persuasion charisma check to find yourself somebody who's willing to tell you about their travels outside the Elvendar.
Faye, next time you level up, just take persuasion as a skill.
I would like to get brownie points for playing a character who's really trying hard to save their friend with like a -1 on fucking charisma.
Yeah, you know what? That's fine. You are engaging with a flaw of your character.
It's okay. I'm trying. Okay, I'm being awkward. I'm sweaty.
According to baseline 5e D&D, you get inspiration for that kind of thing. I don't really play with inspiration because I find it clunky and I just get rid of it.
I love suffering.
Why don't you take some inspiration?
Sure. I'm taking it. I'm taking it for this roll right now. What?
There you go.
I roll advantage on a charisma check. Is that it?
Yes, charisma persuasion.
18! I dodged the natural one!
Alright.
So Rose starts off and then she's like, oh, hold on. 1 second. And
Goes
then
around
she
the corner,
gathers
just heavy
herself.
breathing.
Yeah. You walk away, compose yourself, and come back.
Have a quick look in the book and it's like, okay.
All
right. Second try.
You find that the elves are reticent to talk about traveling beyond the Elvendar. They seem to kind of think of this place as their home and their like where they belong. This place being the forest, not so much the city that you're in. And while they are reluctant to talk about it, eventually you find somebody who does speak of the Scrivener's Tower. They say, it is a mountain spire about 2 days' walk northeast from the most northern port of the Elvendar. You'll want to stray away from the river. It will bend and lead you away from the spire. The spire itself is probably unmissable out of the rocky desert. Large stone, as high as a mountain. But it is not always the Scrivener's Tower. Sometimes it is just a spire of stone. The nature of when the Scrivener's Tower arrives is a mystery to me. Perhaps there are other elves who could tell you more. You want to take lots of water. I suggest a lot of moonflow water. Fill up on it before you leave. The desert can be harsh and unforgiving.
Can we get some extra barrels with the wine?
the elves a different elf kind of looks back at you, Hugh, is like, oh, you wish to trade for empty barrels. What would you like to trade?
Oh god.
Oh my god.
A small boy.
What kind of magic can he cast?
Oh my god. Yes, this is never done in 4 hours. Okay, well, like, while I'm still talking to him, I'm gonna say, I've heard that you shouldn't speak in the Scrivener's Tower. Have you ever heard of that?
Yes, I have heard of this. The creatures there, the hooded with fox-like features, seem to be
boy. Oh jeez.
A different world. Their ears are very sharp. I've heard that sound of any kind hurts them.
That's bad.
Shadow.
That's not good.
I can deafen them. It's okay.
Has Rose ever heard of such a creature? Because Faye has, but Faye can't say, so.
Sean has too, but it comes from something not in this D&D game.
Go ahead and give me an Arcana check.
11.
No,
probably not.
You have not heard of these fox-like creatures.
Lovely. Well, that is good to know.
He nods. He says, you already are warned to not speak. It is easy. They have telepathy. They can speak amongst themselves easily enough. There's ways to write where your intentions are. Their collection is vast and interesting, though I had little time to peruse it myself.
Do you think they mind if I speak to other people with telepathy?
I do not know. I did not have that opportunity.
Well, you've been a great help, and this has been a surprisingly pleasant conversation.
It's really
I
nice,
appreciate you taking the time.
Yes, of course. Good luck on your journey, young one.
Thank you. It's a pretty long journey.
And
As she
that-
rejoins,
Yeah,
as
she rejoins.
the group. How are you with succulents? Are you like good friends, or are we gonna have another travel buddy? Oh my god,
What?
she's gonna have a cactua.
I mean, I'm okay with succulents. They, seem pretty chill.
I do like the idea of a cactar. You're speaking my
Plants
language,
in-
Millman.
Plants in
Wait, we're talking
general have a
Cactuar,
very
right? Like
gentle.
the Final Fantasy thing. Okay.
Yes.
I love
Very-
those
We're
things.
gonna get
They're
out into the
best.
desert. We're gonna be lost, and then there's
I
Faye.
love those things so much. They're like the best Final Fantasy creature.
She just kneels down and starts talking to them, and she makes good friends with them as Rose.
All right.
And then we have.
I will try my best. I
On
promise.
the
I'll be
note
fine with
of
them.
potential cactars in our future, the five of you eventually make your way back onto the Zephyr's Wind to a very impatient captain who's had a stressful day of arguing, and you are let through to sail past the ancient city of the elves, and you begin your journey ever northward towards the Scrivener's Spire. And that is where we will wrap up today's session. Thank you all for playing with me. That was a lot of fun. I'm going to calculate some XP. Do you have anything you want to shout out before we sign off for the day?
Yeah, if you guys are not done with watching D&D streams, I will be live in the next 20 minutes with the... Oh my god, what does he call it now? It's not the Shadow Sight campaign, it's...
I feel like you forget the name of this every single
No,
week.
he renamed it, because originally it was the Shadow Sight campaign. He made the new campaign, got English words, then converted one half to Bosnian, which I'm okay with. Then the other half to, like, Hebrew or something. He converted that Hebrew to English so he could say it. And then I'm dyslexic at the best of times, so like he's just put two opposite languages side by side. And he's like, "That's the name of the show," and I'm like, "How do you say it?" And he's like, "You'll figure it out." And that's where it's left.
That means he doesn't know.
No, he says it. He says it, and I'm like, I can't fathom what you just said.
That doubly means he doesn't know.
Yeah. Anyway, this week I stole a tier, which is essentially a plane of existence's separating rock, and I'm going to become a full dragon as a dragonborn, so I'm really excited. I'm going to probably kill the druid. We'll see how it goes. That's the goal of this week's. If you want to tune into that, you can go check out my stream. I'm here on Twitch. It's Millman. What else? The League of Ultimate Questing for Mike. They are making new episodes. I'm really far behind because I really just stream too much and don't sleep, so I don't have a chance to sit down for 4 hours and listen to the podcast. You can go check that out. Slapdash Studios. Boom. Done. Anybody else? Other than the sports stuff, because I'm waiting for it. Yeah, I'm waiting
And my
on it.
Ducks won.
Hey, they pulled it out. Nice.
Amazing.
Woo! Go Ducks.
Go Ducks!
Says the resident.
I have no
Washington
idea
State
what.
Cougar.
I have no idea what kind of
Okay,
team
it
that
doesn't
is.
matter. As long as you guys
Ducks are the
Is
football
it
team, right?
basket? Are we talking
I
basketball?
think it's football. Ducks are football, right?
Shit.
Ducks are everything.
The only Ducks I know are ice hockey, and it's the Mighty Ducks, and it's because of a terrible movie. So
I know that too. There's multiple movies, and they're not that bad.
Okay.
Definitely.
We should probably go. This is going downhill really fast.
Now, Sean, you're playing, right? You're playing this weekend.
Yeah,
No?
tonight. Oh, also with Neil tomorrow. I'm running tonight. I'm running again.
Oh my God! Where people can watch you, obviously. You know, you're like, oh,
Oh yeah, no, I'm on Neil's channel tomorrow. We're playing Hardcore Heroes. I assume that's what we're doing. I hope so.
I think so.
Okay.
I think I've seen a cooldown.
It's
for
either that or we're doing chat, in which case I'd see Greg there, but I don't think that's the case. I
no, it's
think
not.
tune in for Hardcore Heroes.
Yeah, it's not me. So it's either Hardcore Heroes or you're doing something different.
Okay.
All right. Awesome. Well, thank you all for playing. I want you all to take home 862 points of experience.
All right.
Actually, 863 if we want to round up.
Yes,
I
we
do
want to
like
round up.
All
personally.
right, 863 points of experience.
8238.
And a very powerful scroll. All right, well, that will do it for this week. We will see you all next week, hopefully with a Goric in tow. And until I see you again, have a great rest of your day, night, week. Catch y'all next time. Peace, everybody.
Bye.